Okay, now on the MongoDB, we already have the database post IDB. We have a collection user infos, and we have already created the model user model.js, which maps the user infos collection with the user schema that we created in this user model page. Now we are about to create the server file index.js in the server folder, and this is the file that will receive all the requests from the client, all the APIs from the client. So on the server I will create one file and I will call it index.js. Okay, and if you want this file to be the default file on the server which receives the request from the server, make sure that in the package.json file inside the server folder. Okay, so click on the package.json which is inside the server folder, and make sure that in this you have this line here, main, and name of the file index.js, and also add this line type module. This will make sure that you can import the libraries on the server also, just like you import on the client side with the import command. So these two lines, make sure you have these two lines. Okay, you need to import the Express framework, you need to import the Mongoose, and you need to have NodeMon. If NodeMon, you may have to use Node to run the server. And the bcrypt library we will be using for if you need to encrypt some data like password or something before we push to the database, we may have to use bcrypt library. And the CORS library will be used to connect the client from any URL from anywhere to our server file index.js. So just remember that without CORS, your front end will not be able to connect to the backend. So this is must. So you must include this, right? If you have not installed these libraries, please install them. Okay, come to the file index.js, and I will start with, so the first thing is, because on the server we are using the Express framework, we are using MERN stack, MERN. So in MERN, E stands for Express framework. So we have to make our application as Express application. So just think of as Express framework as something in between the client and the server. So before any request reaches the server, it has to come through the Express framework. So to install the Express, first we need to import Express from Express. This page also needs to connect to the database, because if we are getting some request to store some data or access database, this server will receive that data from the client, and then this page will handle it to the MongoDB database. Okay, or if the client needs some data, this page will get data from the database and give it back to the client. So we need Mongoose in this file also. Import Mongoose from. Then I also need to import CORS from CORS. And as I mentioned before, without this, our client side will not be able to connect with the backend. The third thing I need is that is specific to this project. Since I will need to encrypt some data uh, like password when the user logs in or when the user registers for the first time. So I will need to import a library which can do encryption and decryption. So for this, we will import bcrypt from bcrypt. And now we want this, since we have to use the Express framework, so we have to create an application which uses Express framework. So for this, I will create an application and let me name it as app. You can give it any name. App is a common name, so I'm giving it app. So app equal to Express. So this command is creating the server as Express uh, application Express server. And now whenever I have to deal something with the server, I can just call it by the name app. So for example, I want that this app should be able to receive the JSON data from the client. So for this, I will say app.use express.json. So many times from the client, we will get the data in the JSON format. So this line will ensure that our app is able to receive the JSON data and process it. Then we already imported course, so we have to write a statement which will make sure that the server can receive the request from the client. That means client and server can communicate. Okay, so for this app use and here course. So these are my main files that I have to import. The next thing I have to do is that I have to specify that this server, okay, this application app will listen to the requests at which port. So generally, if you see by default when you make the client side code, it automatically uses the port 3000. So I have to use some port other than 3000. So I want that this app should listen to the requests at which port. I have to specify the port. Let's say 3001. Don't write 3000 here because 3000 is already being used by the client. And if the port is available, okay, and is assigned to the app, then I will write one anonymous function, and inside this I will write the message using the console.log web server ready. So this message is if the port is available, if everything is okay in the console, you can see here this message web server ready will be displayed here. So on the server, the developer or the website manager can come to know that okay, the server is ready. This page also needs to connect to the MongoDB Atlas. So for this, I need to get the connection string first. So let's say const, let me call this connection string as connection string because I need to use this connection string whenever I have to make a connection. Now from where do we get this connection string? We will go to our MongoDB. So right now we are inside the post IT cluster, right? So if you want to get the connection string, then what you can do here is, so in my project, if I open the post it app, so now when I'm in the project post it app, okay, then I have here link cluster, and if you see here I have this option here, connect to the post it cluster, right? Because inside the post it cluster we have our database post it DB, right? So if you want to get the connection string below this, just click on connect, and here select the database user, which is by default we have only one user, post it DB. This is the database user, and here click drivers, and here make sure that you select Node.js because you are using Node.js. In fact, by default it will be Node.js only, and then here is your connection string. Okay, I will copy the connection string and I will explain you the text inside this connection string. So copy and come to your index.js and assign this connection string to the constant variable connection string. So in this connection string now, if you see here, this is the name of the database user, which is postedDB. And here what you see in angular brackets, this part has to be replaced with the password that you have set for the database user. Okay. So here my password is muscat123, probably question mark. Okay. And after this, just before the question mark, you have to write the name of the database. Put the name of the database here. So this is your connection string. So let me just confirm my password if this is correct or not. It's only muscat123, not the question mark. Right? So we can check this whether our connection string is correct or not. So once you have this connection string, then this page can try to connect to the database. So once it is connected, then this page can do database operations with the MongoDB Atlas. So let me try to connect this page. So I have mongoose dot mongoose is a method called connect, and this method is used to connect to the database. Inside this, the argument for this is the connection string, and this whole connection string I stored inside the variable connection string. So I'll copy this and I'll put it here, connection string, and then dot, I have a then method. So the code inside then will execute if the connection is successful. Then I have a method called catch. The code inside this will execute if the connection fails, and we will display the reason for the failure. So connection string then, so we have an anonymous function here. Let me put this in separate line for easy readability. So anonymous function, and here I will put a message inside the console using the console.log connected to MongoDB, right? So when I write this, you can see here at the bottom now, for this line number 8, app.listen, if my page is connected, if my page is ready to, sorry, if my server, that is index.js, if it is ready to listen to the request from the client, then we get this message, web server is ready. So you can see here this message, web server is ready. Second thing is, if the connection to the database is connected successfully, okay, then in the anonymous function, in the then, I'm displaying the message connected to MongoDB. So you can see here, this is also being displayed here. So it means even my database connection is successful, right? And if the connection fails, so again, we can write here anonymous function, and let me give it name here, ERR or ERROR, whatever. So this will catch the error or the reason why the connection failed, right? And then if you want, in the console.log, you can display the reason why the database could not be connected. So we can just write here db connection failure, and after that I can just put this variable which catches the specific error, and I can display the error here, err, right? So if you see right now here, server is ready, connected database, no issues, right? But let's say if there is a mistake, maybe my password is incorrect. Maybe I write a wrong password. In that case, this page will not connect to the server and I will get the error message, right? So you can see here now, so you can see here this message, DB connection failure, and it is giving the reason for the failure. Password contains unescaped characters or something. So it is showing the detailed message for the error, right? So if you just want to show a message that there is a database connection error, you can omit this. If you want the detail error, you can keep it here, right? So here the main issue was my password was wrong, right? So the moment I fix my password, you can see here now, server ready, index.js is ready to receive the request from the client, and also this page successfully connected to MongoDB. So this is the basic code that any index.js file must have, irrespective of what you plan to do in this index.js, right? So in the next video, we will write the APIs in this file, which will receive data from the client for various operations like registration of user, login, logout, adding posts for the users. All these APIs we will create here, right? So this program is not finished, and we can add as many APIs as you want as per our requirement. Thank you.